Testing. Yeah. Yeah, right.
What's going on, good people? It is I, the Empress K, and we are here for 600 Seconds with HYLO Art. And tonight we have Chris Carter of RYK Studios and Benjamin Diamond Film. Y'all make some noise for Mr. Chris Carter tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So let's start here. If you will, tell us a little bit about Chris Carter and then about your businesses.
Well, I'm a former player, football player, and decided to get into filmmaking and kind of started a company called Benjamin Diamond Film. And we've been producing film since then.
Okay, awesome. So how did you get started with making films and things?
I started out with doing a lot of sports films. One of the guys that came out of this area, Mike Williams with the Chargers, we were doing a lot of sports films, promoting them. And then from there, I kind of just kept going and then started doing film and found a way to kind of tell different stories and let people know about it.
Awesome, awesome. So as far as your influences and inspirations, talk a little bit about that with us.
You say my influences?
Yeah.
I guess people that's influenced me has always been, when I talk about the sports world, it's been like various coaches like Dabo Swinney, Nick Saban, but when I started getting into the film part of it, guys like Ryan Coogler and Ava DuVernay were just various people that I kind of started watching and just watching how they moved. And I've always been intrigued with film, even guys like Spike Lee and various other directors that have all did film, and I just kind of wanted to kind of burn my niche in there too.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So where does your name come from?
Well, Benjamin Diamond Film, actually, the way I came up with Benjamin Diamond Film, because I always said that there are a lot of people out here that have a lot of talent. And it's like a diamond, it's always the process of just finding them. And I love to find people that's, they're hungry for something or they want to be developed. And that was one of the things that I always say, everybody has a diamond in them. And then once you can find it, then we can make film that lasts forever. The name RYK actually means God, a God of what you do. So it's like a God amongst men. So I said, if we're gonna create a studio, let's create a studio where we can become the best we can possibly be.
Yeah. I love that idea and everything about that. That's awesome. So let me ask you, for you, what's more important in an artist? Talent or work ethic?
I always say work ethic. A lot of people can be talented, but the thing about it is if they don't have that drive, it's just talent going to waste. Yeah. We've always taken people who just wanted to get into acting, but they were just hungry for it. And I always say, if somebody's hungry for something, you can teach them anything. You can get the most talented person, but if they're lazy or if they, feel entitled, they can become very difficult to work with. So I always look for people that just, got that, I call it that dog in them. Yeah. And when they got that dog in them, they are hungry for it. They're the kind of people that, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get to that next level. Yeah. So if I gotta, I always say, if I got somebody who is constantly coming back asking me, hey, can I get in the film? And they're constantly asking me, they got that dog in them. They don't accept no, they don't, they're gonna find a way to make their way in there. So I love the tenacity of those type people. I like being around those type people. And that's just, so I prefer any day, I prefer someone that got the hunger versus talent.
Yeah, understood, understandably so. So which do you like more, photography or videography?
Video. Photography was something I kind of started doing because, photography helps you with video. Mm-hmm. And when I first started, doing video, doing movies and doing sports films, it was a lot different, lighting and all of that. So, one of the things I always say, no matter where you start, you always want to perfect your craft and get better. So I started looking at photography, started doing some pictures. I mean, I'm not a big fan of doing pictures, but I'll do them. And I did a few, and people started liking them, and then I would get a call from here and another person. Yeah. So it kind of just started. But video is where my heart is. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about some upcoming events and projects that you may have.
Well, I know I just did a movie for the Lupus Foundation called Mark of the Butterfly, which will be coming out June the 16th, starring Brittany Altenbach. So that's probably the first major project that I had. But other than that, I've done a few short films here and there, but I'm real excited about that. I've been partnering with Lupus LA and various, lupus organizations. It was scheduled to come out in 2020, but COVID hit, and it kind of shut everything down. So, we had to kind of go back to the drawing board to find out ways in which we were going to be able to distribute the movie out and get it out to various places. So I've been working back and forth with those guys, and it's scheduled again to come out in June 14 this year.
Awesome. So with this film, can we get a little teaser on what it's about, or?
Yeah, it's about an attorney, a very powerful attorney that's, now being named the state's district attorney, and she has to battle with, lupus. And as you know, lupus affects women predominantly, but what I realized is it affects a lot of black women. But she's a very high, powerful lawyer that's used to winning. Now she's in the greatest fight of her life against lupus. So it's you go with her through her struggle, and you go with her through her denial of having it, and then still trying to achieve her dreams and her goals, and still dealing with the pain and agony on the other side of it.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I definitely want to check that out. Most certainly. So if you could work with one creative, who would that be?
It's probably two, but I really would like to work with Ryan Coogler. Just the fact of how he moves, and I love special effects, the VFX and different things like that. So when it comes to like the Black Panther, I'm a big fan of that movie. I've even dabbled in doing some things on my own, working with other companies, but that would be one person I really would like to work with.
Awesome. Let's see what else you got here. So tell us about your Orange Cola casting group.
Orange Cola Casting, it's a casting group. It's right now it's composed of maybe about 200 actors, and it's open to anyone to join. Most people join through Facebook, and the reason I call it Orange Cola, because it's a combination of people from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and Columbia. But now it's kind of branched into Charleston. But it's a platform in which, me myself, I put all our different movies that are coming up, and people have an opportunity to audition with it and also find out different parts. It's really good for people who want to get into acting but don't know where to start. It's because just kind of jumping out there, sometimes it's kind of hard to understand the nature of the business. So people who have talent or people who have, aspire to be actors, they can come. Even people who want to get behind the camera in production. It's a group that I've created that allows people in a platform for people to be able to do that. So, it's when I first started, it was just me trying to get a group of actors, but it continuously kept growing over time.
That's awesome. I'll definitely have to check that out myself. So most certainly. You also did a relationship podcast titled The Formula. What's that about?
The Formula it's a relationship platform. I teamed up with MILF on the Move. She was on the show with Kevin Samuels. She was on the Kevin Samuels show. But she's out in Las Vegas, and then Manushka the Poet, who's in Miami. We've all kind of teamed up and formed a podcast called The Formula. And it's an actual live show in which we talk about different relationships and the dynamics between men and women. And, it's a call-in. People can go live with us. And, right now we're in our first season, like on our 6th episode. But, MILF, she's out in Las Vegas. Manushka's down in Miami. We're doing major podcasts next week in Atlanta at HQ Radio. But it's a platform in which we create, talk between men and women. Yeah.
I can only imagine how that may be. Does it get heated sometime?
Sometimes it does, because MILF is she's kind of on the wiry side, and then Manushka's on the kind of. So sometimes when we'll bring guests on, she'll say something, and sometimes we do it on purpose. We'll say stuff to kind of get people kind of riled up. Yeah. But it's growing, and and it's something again that we just I love creating dialogue between people. If it's movies, if it's conversation, but it's anything that creates dialogue in which people have to talk about different issues versus just kind of letting them sit on the surface.
Yeah. And it opens minds too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want I always say that we want to challenge people to think. We want to challenge. We also want to challenge people's certain beliefs on things, and sometimes if you can see it from a different perspective, it's a way of looking at things differently. I know a lot of times we all have kind of like our own belief, sometimes our own way of seeing things, but I always say there are two sides to every coin. So sometimes you have to be able to see that, and if you have the ability to see things on both sides of the coins, it kind of open your mind to being able to be that type person that sometimes you can navigate, you can bring people together. One side, one track, one mind way of thinking is good, but when you're dealing with people, and especially when you're dealing with a group of different people and you're trying to, if not unite, create understanding, you got to be able to have that open mind to hear both sides. Yeah.
I can most certainly feel you there. Yeah, that open dialogue. Because one of the things for me that I've come to realize is you have people who will think, but then you also have those who will think for themselves. Yeah. It's a major difference, And
that's good. People who can think for themselves, who can actually separate themselves from the crowd. I mean, that's a gem in its own. Because a lot of times it's very easy to go along with the crowd. It's very easy to get one side of a story and just kind of go with it. Right. But it takes a strong person to be able to say, hey, I heard this side. Now let me hear what's going on this side, and let me make a decision without the influence of any side. Right. And so that's a very mature person. And I think if people can, the faster people can learn that, the more understanding and clarity they can get about making decisions that best suit them.
I totally agree. Yeah. Most certainly. So with that, do you have any advice that you'd like to share with everyone?
I always tell people to be the best version of themselves unapologetically. That's the best gift you can give to God. I know life is, as you get older and you go through life, there are certain things that the world will allow you to be. And the more you grow and the more as you choose various careers in your life, the world can accept you in the beginning. Yeah. But every human will change over a period of time. And you have to, be the best version of yourself, whatever road you choose to go down. If you choose to switch, if you choose to get out of a Lexus and get into a Mercedes, you have the right to do that. But you need to do that unapologetically, and have the courage to do that because, like I said, the greatest gift you can give back to God is to be the best version of yourself. That's it. And in return, a lot of times that's the best gift you can give to people.
Yeah. I most certainly feel you there, man. You really dropped some jewels tonight, most certainly. So with that, how can people follow and support you? Well, one, why should people follow and support you?
Well, I always say, I'm not looking for people to follow me, but I do appreciate if they follow the craft that I do. And if what I do speaks to them, then, I would say follow me. But, they can find me on RYK Studios, RYK Studios, Benjamin Diamond Film, and those are probably like on Instagram. And everything is just the same name, Benjamin Diamond Film or RYK Studios. So I'm very down there. If somebody DM me, I'll DM them back. A lot of times on Benjamin Diamond Film, I get a lot of DMs, so sometimes it's harder to find it. But RYK Studios is new. You know, I think it's only like about 1,000 people, so it's easy for me to get DMs on RYK Studio versus Benjamin Diamond Film.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right. So do you have any final shout-outs?
You know, I want to thank HYLO Art for, you know, giving me the opportunity. I never take these things for granted because it's always an honor when anybody sees something that you do, and they ask you to come on and talk. You know, I never take those things for granted. So I always like to say thank you, and thank you, and thank everybody for taking the time to listen.
Thank you so much for being here. Y'all make some noise for Chris Carter tonight of RYK Studios and Benjamin Diamond Film. Thank you so much.